Hello, viewers. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. It seems no matter what room I read in, I'm getting a lot of light coming in, which, of course, as you know, I'm Revealing Light Tarot, so we'll let it stand. Okay, I've got a little bit of time to have a look at Mike Pence. I won't do too much of an intro here. We know just that Mike Pence, that Trump sent him over to the Ukraine to deliver a message from Trump. Pence is now saying he did not read or he wasn't privy to Trump's call with the Ukrainian president, just that he knew he'd called him, but he didn't know the substance of the call. It's sounding a little bit hollow, isn't it? Looks like Pence is going to be drawn in here. So let's have a look. Did Pence know about the bribe and the threat, the subtle threat, quid pro quo that Trump employed when he rang the president of the Ukraine? Did Pence know? What do we need to know about Mike Pence and his involvement in this Ukrainian scandal? Beyond scandal, could it be potentially what will bring the Trump government down? What did Pence know? Did he understand what was going on? Did he read that transcript? Was he briefed? Of course he would have been briefed, but he's saying he only had the bare details of that call. Did he understand? Did he know about the threat or the bribe? Did he understand what Trump was asking of that Ukrainian president? Did he understand? Did he know that Trump wanted the dirt on Joe Biden and in return for that aid? Did Pence know is the question. So I just heard someone say yes, and I think we're being naive if we think that he didn't. Here is our Ace of Cups. I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot. It's a new deck, so I'm still getting used to it. I find it really good for intuitive reading. So the Ace of Cups, yes, he did. Yes, he did know is what this tarot reading is telling me so far. Now, what he's challenged by is the Page of Cups, and so it will eventually come out that he did know. This is the bombshells that keep on happening. The base of the reading, we have the Seven of Cups. So for Pence, this was about a choice that he perhaps didn't make, that he should have made. It is showing also that he is trying to throw a smoke screen over all of this, over his involvement in this as well. But I do feel that in some way, with Trump basically throwing his vice president under a bus to protect himself so that the Republicans don't move to impeach him, he's now, pardon me, saying, if you impeach me, Pence will go down and Pelosi will be president. So Seven of Cups, all about choices. Let's have a look at what was in the past, the Wheel of Fortune. It's in the past position, though, for Pence. This could be an opportunity lost, but let's keep going. I think he, going over to the Ukraine, doing Trump's business, becoming the VP, all of that. But that's in the past. It's also karmic. It's also a karmic situation. So in the sky, we have the King of Cups energy. This, of course, is the Black Swan. It's also about things coming to a maturation, things coming to a close. But there's also this energy that's now running through DC and I think also the world. I noticed I think it's Austria, the far right-winged party failed, and the Central Party or Centre Party instead won. So we're moving back into this more balanced energy, this more benign, supportive energy, a government that doesn't threaten to shoot migrants in the legs as they run toward the border or build a moat filled with alligators and piercing sticks. We're moving back into this. Now, what does that augur for Pence? It augurs loss. Okay, so really what this reading is telling me is that any notion that Pence might get away with something here when he knew exactly why he was going to Ukraine it's just not going to happen. It's also the betrayal of Trump as well. Okay, currently we've got the Page of Swords. Our wonderful Page of Swords has worked really hard for us all year to bring this, I guess, to bring the truth out. But it's also information. So there exists some information that will eventually come to light. There's a spy in Pence camp as well that will eventually come to light that Pence knew exactly what he was doing. We've got loss as a result. As a result of the information that is actually coming out now, we've got the Five of Pentacles, and it's a pretty graphic image, isn't it? It's a rose that's withering on the vine. Pence's opportunities are drying up before his very eyes. The hopes and the fears, of course, Vice President Pence will be drawn into the Russiagate. This is in the hopes and fears. It's the Empress card. It's my card for Russia, Mother Russia. Of course, it's the fear. So he's actually quite worried at this present moment. He'd be in consultation with his advisors, working out ways that he can get through this or get out of this. But it's showing that there's evidence here of what he knew that will actually come out in time. I think there's a whistleblower here as well. And we've got the outcome card, the Ten of Wands. It's going to be heavy going for Pence to try and get out of this one. And we've got the King of Swords. He will be investigated as well. Absolutely. I love that card. This is a wise investigator, a sharp investigator, somebody with a good head on their shoulders. This is I'm feeling the impeachment inquiry. The House investigative team are really finding their footing. He's also drawn into the Mueller report as well. Through his collaborations with Russia, I'm feeling, and through his relationship with Trump. All of that is going to be under investigation. What's happening now? Pence is looking a little foolish, but this is also new beginnings. We've got the Five of Cups, and unfortunately he has two fives on the ground, both of them lost cards. Again, this is the lost opportunities. And what's he climbing with this Nine of Wands? A very steep and perilous staircase in a half light, and he will have to navigate through his wits alone. Not looking good for Pence, but then what did you expect when he tied himself to the devil? And this is what's going to bring Pence undone at the end of the day. Now, plenty of people are now suggesting that Nancy Pelosi will be an acting president for a period of time should Trump and Pence go down. I think that's a little bit premature. We know that Pence will be investigated. Well, when I say premature, right at this point in time, let's not get ahead of ourselves, as my old boss used to say to me, God bless him. Let's see if Pence will need to resign, I guess. That's probably the question that we need to ask. Will the Vice President need to resign over his part that he played in the Ukrainian quid pro quo, let's call it, shall we? Will Pence need to resign? Will Mike Pence need to stand down because of his involvement in the Ukrainian quid pro quo? Will Mike Pence need to stand down? There's an Ace of Swords here, the truth coming out. It's also a yes card, so I feel that he will be brought down with this that's going to impact on Trump as well. The Page of Wands, he's challenged by what written communication is there. Just as Pompeo had to fess up, eventually, so will Pence. Because there's already a record of it on the ground, and someone at some stage is going to get hold of that. The foundation of the reading, there is a plan in place that will mature in time, which is interesting. So I can feel some negotiations going on here between the Republicans eventually in time, and the Democrats. Let's have a look. We've certainly got the Five of Swords. We've got an abuse of power in the past for Pence, even though he comes across as the lighter shade of Donald Trump. Of course, in terms of the shadow side, we know that he is actually just as, I guess, immersed in what has been going on at the White House since the get-go. Look, we have the ending of his vice presidency with that death card. We have the King of Swords being under investigation. That won't take too long either. I think the House will move to investigate Vice President Pence in relation as part of their impeachment inquiry of Donald Trump. Right at the moment, we've got the Two of Cups. He is the vice president to the most, I guess, what's looking like allegedly unlawful president in the history of the US. That's his problem. He's chained to the devil. Okay, let's have a look at his hopes and fears that the truth will come out with that Queen of Swords, and that the objective truth will come out, and that this is again what's happening, and which is why Trump can't get away with his rhetoric and his gaslighting, is because this thing has a momentum and a life of its own. People are actually accepting and absorbing the truth, and when there's the gaslighting and the repeated narrative to try and overturn things with conspiracy theories, been there, done that, tick it off. It's just not holding water. And look, we've got loss and walking away with this Eight of Swords being restricted. Pence's career will be restricted because of this. This is generally probably a no. But let's keep going. This is things coming forward, lots of it, very, very quickly. There's a lightning strike there, and we've got the Democrats with this Queen of Wands and their investigation. It's actually going to prompt a new beginning. So underneath, we've got the Six of Wands, which is a victory card because the roots of this corruption go so deep. We have the Knight of Cups, an offer being made, and we've got the Sun card, full illumination. Yeah. He's going to be, I don't know if he's going to stand down, but I do feel his career is going to be restricted as a result. So he's never going to be the alternative to Trump. I don't know what his career ambitions were, but after this, it's all over. Now, I'm going to ask that question about Nancy Pelosi while we're on the subject. I'm going to ask about her becoming an interim president. Of course, Trump is using that. He must understand at some level that the Republican senators could actually vote to impeach him. For him to say that, okay, Republicans, if you get rid of me, you won't be able to have Pence because he was in Ukraine doing the same thing as what I was doing, and you will end up with Nancy Pelosi for president. Okay, so I watched a press conference with the Paul Finnish president today, who was visiting the White House, and honestly, newsmakers just left that press conference and said, oh my God, he's absolutely gone off the rails. Okay, so let's have a look at Pelosi. Will she, as things are uncovered, the extent of these, what would you call it? Can we say alleged treasonous behaviour? When this is uncovered, is there any likelihood Nancy Pelosi would be an interim president? And I am getting an affirmative on that. Okay, so we've got the Seven of Wands. This is self-defense as the signifier card. It's an upward energy, having to defend oneself, and we've got the challenge to that is loss. Okay, so the Five of Cups is Five of Pentacles is actually a loss card. Defending oneself and challenged by loss. Okay, so if she were, it would not be easy for her. We have the Eight of Pentacles as the foundation of the reading. It would take a tremendous amount of work for her to govern in an environment in any way effectively once if Trump and Pence both win. It's not saying it can't be done. It's just saying that it will take a lot of work. She would be able to do that though, because here she is in her own reading, the Queen of Swords, the wise Queen of Swords, that led the impeachment inquiry, led the Democrats in the House. These are good cards. This is also the Mueller report, so getting hold of that hidden evidence by Barr is going to be critical to this impeachment. By the time the Democrats are finished, it won't be just Ukraine. It will be undoubtedly a path forward that absolutely needs to be done. Now we've got the Seven of Cups, and this is having to make a choice here. It's also illusions and delusions. This is not an easy path for Nancy Pelosi to walk. We've got the Ten of Wands, a heavy, heavy, heavy burden. That rose actually looks like it's crying. This is a really, really, really heavy burden that she would be carrying. The Page of Wands right now, again, this is it's not a King of Wands, it's not a Knight of Wands. It's a little bit, it needs to be formed, it needs to grow, but this is also some sort of communication right now. The Sword of Truth is the environment. So the Ukraine, this is telling me that Ukraine's only the tip of the iceberg. Okay, the hopes and fears, we've got the Four of Swords, we've got retreat. Yeah, could it even be Nancy Pelosi's health under such huge circumstances that would see her as an interim president. We've got the Page of Cups, though. We've got bombshells, these bombshells coming out, which are only going to grow because I've got the Knight of Wands. Okay, the Knight of Wands and the Truth, which is what is occurring at the moment. It's going to get worse, and we've got the Three of Cups, circles of support. She could, because things are so uncovered, are so bad. It could be that she is put into that interim presidency. It won't be for very long with that Daughter of Cups there. That's a Gosling, which is telling me that that she won't be there very long. And if she is there, she will be governing with a measure of support from the Republicans. We've got the Two of Swords. It would be a heavy and an onerous burden to in the lead up, if this were to occur in the lead up to the 2020 election. But this is a crossroads. This is choices needing to be made, and this is a compromise. Let's have a look at base of the pack. Okay, the Son of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles. This again is another card that keeps on coming up. It's the money that will bring Trump down in every single way, which I'm not going to go into at the moment. The investigators are uncovering it. They won't fail. And we've got the Five of Swords, the abuse of power in relation to the money. And finally, we have the Queen of Wands, which is the Democrats in the House. And we've got our Temperance card. This stalk comes with a gift, and that gift will mature around December, January and February. Okay, so I will leave it there. Just a quick reading. I hope you enjoyed that. I've been asked multiple times around Pence and Pelosi, so I thought I would put it into context and do that quick reading for you. Thank you for tuning in. That was the Wild Unknown Tarot. It's a minimalist deck, and I find a deck that is quite expressive nevertheless. Thank you.